Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the player ratings. Manchester United 3, Everton 1. Everton out of the FA Cup in the third round. Disappointing. But we've already covered all that anyway in the instant match reaction. So let's get into it. Player ratings. Jordan Pickford in goal. I don't think there's anything could do about the goals. How many times do we say that? Made some decent saves from long shots. Thought his handling was good. Yeah, all round. Yeah, one keeper made a massive mistake. Didn't end up meaning anything, and it wasn't Jordan Pickford. So he was absolutely fine tonight, done his job, and continues to be consistent at the back. So I've given him a 7. Seamus Coleman, obviously coming in for Nathan Patterson, is obviously going to have to play. He's going to have to play for the next 5 weeks or so. In there, obviously playing in a wing back role, getting forward a lot. Done well for the goal that we had disallowed. Was getting forward as much as he could, and putting a lot of energy into him. Fair play to him for that. I thought he had a decent game. I thought he showed his age a little bit on their second goal. I thought the way Rashford ran him and then stopped them. It's what happens when you get older. I am well aware. It's what happens when you get older. You think you can keep up with these people, but your body just doesn't allow you to do that anymore. But I've given him a 7 because I thought all round he had a good game. So good to see him having a good game as well. After he's going to have to play for the next few weeks. So and just the way Patterson's injury record is, which is slightly concerning, that he's been at Everton for a year and has had 3 injuries that have, kept him out for a considerable length of time. Yeah, let's hope that improves. But good to have Seamus Coleman, the captain, in there. Michalenko on the other side, thought it was a tough night for Michalenko. Thought he was really, really poor on the first goal. Didn't react at all, just let Anthony drift off him. Got too concerned with I'll never understand why defenders do this. I'll never understand why defenders pay more attention to the people who are behind them rather than the people who are in front of them. The person in front of you is the person who can do the damage. The fella behind you, you've got enough time to turn if it's played back to them and react. It's like, the way I look at it, it's like, when you're at a junction, when you're in a car and you're turning right and you look right, and then you look left and you look right in, because everything does come from the left. You've got enough time to stop, and it's a bit like that to me. He gets attracted to the fella behind him, and yet gives the fella in front of him a tapping. Very, very. I do not understand why people do that, and he gets caught for that. And I just thought, in general, he was very sloppy in possession. Got caught out numerous times. Yeah. I don't think he's amazing. I've said that. I've gone on the record of saying that. He works very, very hard. Is that enough sometimes when you're playing against technically very gifted players? I don't think so. So I've given Michalenko a 5. Ben Godfrey, in patches tonight looked really looked really not solid, competitive tonight. But then the first goal, he allows the cross to come in. He's an aggressive player. He's aggressive playing. Why isn't he more aggressive there? And he allows the cross to come in with a bit more aggression. He stops that cross. You've got to stop the cross. If you stop the cross, it's dealt with, isn't it? And then obviously he gives the penalty away late on as well. So he had a hand in 2 of their 3 goals. So can you really say he's had a good game? He was, as I said, he's not a great footballer. What he is an athlete. He's physical. He's pacey. Puts himself about. He needs loads of tutorage from the players next to him. But he's an athlete, isn't he? And unfortunately, he he gets caught out a couple of times. I've given him a 6 because in the bit between the first goal and the third goal, I thought he did okay, and I think that aggression was important, and I like that aggression. I think it's something that was missing the other night. I think it was really was missing the other night from our play. I think sometimes that aggression can spark other people into action. Listen, as I said, I don't think he's a brilliant defender. I don't think he's a brilliant footballer, but he's got this far to being a professional footballer. From what for the attributes he's got, I've given him a 6 anyway. James Tarkowski, done his job in terms of blocks, headers, just general all-round defending. Could he have given Conor Cody a shout for the second goal? Well, it all happens really, really quickly, doesn't it? And you can't always know what's going to happen, or can't always be quick enough to tell a teammate what's going to happen. And so I suppose I can forgive him there. Tarkowski, Conor Cody sticks a foot out and it goes in. It's not Tarkowski's fault. He might have done it anyway. It's just an instinct. Who knows? He might have shouted for all I know. I'm sitting here not having a clue. Am I really? But defensively, yeah, he's done what he does every single game, to be honest, which is put his head in, put his body in, and try and defend in the basic sense. It's not always, doesn't always work. It certainly didn't work on Tuesday when he was up against players who were twisting him inside and outside. But he did all right. I've given him a 6.5. Conor Cody, obviously disappointing that he conceded the own goal. Did score, great, right place, right time. Stayed up, followed it up, and put it in the box. And I'll give him 7 for that. I know he got an own goal, but I'll give him a 7 because he got the goal. And those two really are bedrock of how we've played this season, or I think we've been a lot worse off than if we didn't have them. Apparently my scores are too high. That's because players worked hard and are trying to do what they can do. You can't mark people down for not being good footballers or put in a formation that doesn't suit them. You can't mark people down because they're not as good as the opposition in terms of where they played. I thought we worked hard tonight. I said that in the last video. I thought we worked hard and we stayed in the game till the very end. Is it enough? Are we a good enough side? No, of course we're not. But you can't do your player rating. I can't do my player ratings based on what happened in the game before or what happened in the game before. I have to do it based on what happens in this game. And that's what I am doing. So I've given Conor Cody a 7. Onana, I thought tonight might have just been Onana's best game in an Everton shirt. I thought he sat in front of the back four. I thought his tackling was, bar one where he got a yellow card, I thought his tackling was pretty spot on. I thought his use of the ball was quite good. And I thought I thought he did quite well. So there was an improvement there. That's where you want to see him play. It's where I want to see him play as a number 6. That's his position. Leave him in that position and see what happens. Leave him in that position and see what happens for the rest of the season. I've give Onana a 7.25. There you go. 7.25. Yeah, I want to see him playing in the 6, and I wanted to see him sit in front of the back four. His tackling is pretty spot on. He has to be quicker in possession. That's the one thing. Yeah, he has to be quicker in possession. That's his big thing. But I think he's getting closer to the pace of the game. if he keeps playing in that position. So there you go. Garner, you know what? I was just looking at his stats. His stats are not terrible. I think the only problem with Garner is there's too much passing backwards. He doesn't go forwards enough with the ball. He gets the ball and he tends to turn backwards. Now, I don't know whether that's because there's never anything in front of him, which it probably is. But he does tend to go backwards too often. We need... And that, I don't know whether that's, as I said, there's not in front or a bit of self-preservation for the team. And he's not crap, right? I'll say this right now. Garner's not crap. But look at his numbers every single game. Passing numbers, tackles. They're always high. They're always the highest in the team. He doesn't give loads of fouls away and things like that. He just passes too much backwards for me. That's his biggest issue. I've given him a 6 tonight. But that's his biggest problem. He has to go forward with the ball. And maybe it's in himself. Maybe he's not confident in his own passing. So he tends to... I mean, we've seen that on Tuesday night. So maybe he goes backwards because of that. Garner is 33, right? He's not crap. He's just not crap. I mean, people can say he's crap. He's not crap. His numbers... If you look at his numbers speak for themselves, right? He does the job he's asked to do. He goes and presses often on his own. And then his passing needs to be better. And that's why maybe he gives the ball back, right? He's not... I actually think he could play in a better team, slightly higher. And at Paris Saint-Germain and at Senegal, he had that. So I don't think he's crap at all. Can he be better on the ball? Yeah, but is he going to get better on the ball? I don't imagine he will, considering his age. Harry Brown, you're just embarrassing yourself making the comments there. I will defend Garner. I'll sit here and I will defend Garner. I'm not particularly arsed. I will sit and defend Garner because his numbers are good. His numbers are good. And you would notice him if he wasn't in the team. The same way on the other people said we wouldn't notice if Onana wasn't in the team. And when Onana didn't play on Tuesday, there was a massive Onana-shaped hole in the team that wasn't there. So it's dead easy to say things like that. So he's not blessed with ridiculous passing ability or shooting ability. He's a destructive player, and that's his job. So I've given him a 6 tonight. Iwobi, really disappointing to see him go off. He wasn't having a particularly good game, I must admit, but it's very sad to see a player go off with any kind of injury. It really is, especially the way he went down over on his ankle. It's not particularly good, and we'll have to wait and see. I can imagine it'll be at Everton, it'll just be a bad one, won't it? No, in Everton, of course it will. It'll be a bad one because that's Everton for you. He hadn't been playing that well up to then. His passing was slack. He wasn't really creating anything. I'd give him a 5. But the injury, he was on a counter attack. He was breaking it. He wasn't really getting away from the lad, to be honest. And the lad catches him and he just goes on his ankle. It's what happens. It's an horrible one, that, because it isn't a foul, but it's when, I mean, we've all done that once in our lives, haven't we? We've all done that. We've all gone over on our ankle like that, and they just kill. They just absolutely kill. So you imagine going a pace. Yeah. Horrible injury. Yeah, as I said, he hasn't been playing well. I'd give him a 5. Damari Gray, our biggest threat tonight, without doubt. Although when he did get into good areas, he often didn't know what to do with the ball. Sadly, didn't have a final ball. He is dangerous, but his final ball is poor. You know, if the second goal stands, then you go, well, actually, that's what he's been doing all night. But if he's just like, he's that far away, isn't he, from being a decent player? But that far away is just enough that he's not a decent player, and that he's a decent player, but you know what I mean? He's just, he just does something, and then you like get excited, and then he goes, oh. And obviously the goal he scored at Man City, they come once in a blue moon, ironically. But he doesn't take care of this. He's another like Ross Barkley, isn't he? He gets that position and then he doesn't know what to do with it. He doesn't have the final ball, or he doesn't. There was one in the second half, and he done really well. And he gets it. I think he got on his left foot and literally back passes it to the keeper. And you're just like, can you not have smashed it with one foot or bent it with the other foot? And that's the problem. We have too many like that. And he was our biggest threat, but he just doesn't have an end product. And he did play well because the threat's there, and I think that's the position he should be playing in. But yeah, I've given a 7.25 also. He's just so annoying, but he still is he still was our best player. So really annoying. Mopai tried. He made some runs that no one saw, but people just don't give him the ball. Set the goal up, and I've given him a 6. It would have been a 5 if he hadn't set the goal up, probably. Actually, no, I'm giving him a 5.5. I'll give him 5.5. He did make some decent runs, but the problem is because of his height, you can't play the ball over the top of him. Because of his pace, you can't play the ball in the channels to him. He doesn't particularly hold it up very well. But he's isolated, like Don was on Tuesday. Just isolated. Can't go anywhere. I love this, the new scapegoat. No, if players aren't very good, they're not scapegoats. They're just not very good. He's certainly not the worst rated player tonight, and I felt sorry for him because he was isolated. He was making runs and no one was finding him with the ball. I felt a little bit sorry for him. But there you go. He didn't score. He got took off, and there we have it. The subs, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, obviously if the goal had stood, then he would have done amazing, but it didn't. What can you say? He didn't. I think he only had about 13 touches of ball. Again, isolated. No one near him. One cross he had, and he put it in and thought it was offside. I thought we should have brought Sims on late on and put another player up with him, or I get the subs. I didn't quite understand the subs because they kept the shape when I thought we should have been just breaking a little bit to get forward and have another centre forward on. So I've give Dom a 5.5. Decore, who actually, when he came on for a Wobie, he started really poorly. Made a bad tackle for it. Well, it wasn't a bad tackle. It was a bad attempt to tackle. I don't even think he touched the player. Got a yellow card for it. But then he picked up, actually, and then he started to play higher up the pitch, and he started doing okay. His pass completion, I think, was like 95%. He started to get in the game and be higher up the pitch and have that little bit of room to get forward and back the forwards up. So he actually did all right, Decore. I've given him a 7. He's on the pitch for, I think, about 40 minutes, and he did well while he was on. It was just a slow start. Anthony Gordon and Dwight McNeil barely touched the ball, barely could get into the game when they were on. Yeah, I've given them both 5.5. Barely did anything while they were on the pitch. I would have brought Sims on personally. I would have got him involved. But the manager didn't. So there you go. So disappointing night. Yeah. So yeah, and as I said, yeah, next week now is the big one for us, Southampton, where we have to get 3 points. It's as simple as that. We have to get 3 points on next Saturday. So we'll have to wait and see on our injuries, see how they are, see what happens with the Frank Lampard situation as well. And everything else that's going on at Everton at the moment. So there you go. Love you and leave you. Make sure to check out Baz's videos. Make sure to check out my Matt Jackson if you haven't already. We'll be doing the final word on Monday. give you an Everton free weekend. Yeah. There you go. Thanks for watching. If you want to join Toffee TV Premier, where the final word will be exclusively live on Monday, then yeah, make sure you click the link or do this QR code thing when it comes on the screen in a minute. See you in a bit.